Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to be covering Destructible Environment in GameMaker Studio for our platformer example. So the first thing I did was I brought in two new sprites that I made, a barricade and a broken version of the barricade. In addition to that, just make sure that whatever sprite that you have, the origin point is in the center. Same thing for the wall. So let's go ahead and start creating our objects for the barricade. So let's go over to the objects, create brand new object, and we're going to create our destructible item. In my case, I'm referring to it as a barricade. And so this will be obj_barricade. And I'm going to, of course, select the sprites that I just imported. And I'm going to have 3 events. My create event, which will simply cover variables and wall. And so I'm going to have a flash value set to 0. I'm going to have 10 hit points. And I'm going to have a wall that I build underneath and behind me. My wall is equal to create instance underscore create layer at my X and my Y value. And this is why it's important to make sure all the sprites are centered. My X and my Y value on my layer. And I'm going to create at this location obj_wall. My wall, of course, let's see, what's this complaint about? Yes, my wall dot x scale or image dot x scale is going to be equal to 0.9. My wall dot image underscore y scale is also going to be equal to 0.9. So what I'm doing, I'm kind of shrinking down the wall that we have created. The purpose of the wall behind the barricade is that we already have a ton of existing code to detect interactions with hitting the wall. You can't move into the wall, you can't run past it, the bullets collide into it and then disappear. So the wall works great, which is why we create a wall in the background. But as I just mentioned, bullets collide with the wall and disappear, they do nothing. I want to make sure that when shot at, my barricade will disappear because they got hit. So what we're going to do here is make sure that the wall is slightly smaller than the barricade, so that way any bullets that do collide will hit the barricade instead. And the most importantly, the wall that we're going to put behind here, right, index is going to be equal to no one. We're removing the sprite so it does not get seen. And now we should be good with our wall that we've just created. Add in the begin step. And here, draw broken barricade. If the hit points are less than or equal to 0, then of course, instance underscore create underscore layer. Actually, we're not creating a new one. Sprite underscore index. We change our sprite to be SPR underscore barricade broken. and my wall dot instance with my wall instance underscore destroy. And so if our hit points drop to 0, the sprite is changed to the broken barricade and we delete the wall in the background. Just for this moment, I'm going to comment out this line in our create step. The create event, there's our step event, and then the important one is our draw event. Here in draw, we're going to address our hit flash. With hit flash, I'm going to draw self and hit flash in case we just got hit. But what is hit flash, you might say? Well, that of course is supposed to be our script to handle flashing because we've been hit. And so we already have it for whenever our targets get hit, such as the enemy object, draw a hit flash. It's just this little chunk of code. But given that we're going to use this a little bit more often, I'm going to go ahead and create a script that actually covers this. So let me copy this chunk and also replace this with hit flash and add a new script called hit flash. And inside here, we simply have this chunk of code. If flash is greater than 0, decrease flash, change the shader, draw self, reset shader, and whatnot. Now, with all of this in place, we should be able to go to our testing room, and I'm going to quickly place a single barricade right here. When we run this, this should result in the wall appearing behind it, and we can actually see the wall. That's the room. We go into here, and yes, we can vaguely see the wall in the background. As we can see, there are interactions with it to make sure that we can walk over it. We can walk next to it. And you can see there's just enough space on all sides that interaction is allowed. Now, of course, nothing is happening when we shoot it because, and then I missed the part where I forgot to drag the screen over. As you can see, we can interact with this and walk on top of it, around it, but can't walk through it, which is what we want. But for us to get the full functionality, we need to, of course, add in the hit flash component of hitting it and causing damage with our collision. So that's under bullets. If we hop over to bullets, we just need to add in another collision check. And so collision, objects, and in this case, barricade. If we hit the barricade, we of course want to damage our barricade. And we do our measly 1 damage with other. Damage target, calling our script from before, dealing just 1 point of damage. And then since I'm just going to destroy. And now whenever we go towards it, we can shoot at it. And at its removal, it is like this. But, oh, it's still doing the hit flash once it's the barricade. So we need to make sure we add in that little check. We don't care about if HP is less than or equal to 0. Actually, sorry, greater than 0. Then we do the hit flash. Otherwise, we don't care about it and we're good. Last, this step, I actually made a mistake. What we want to do is create a sprite have this centered here, and this is collision or SPR underscore barricade collision. And this is 64 by 64. And I'm going to manually set the collision to be just smaller than the outside. With this empty collision box, I'm going to go back to here, barricade, and we don't need to scale anything down. I guess we can keep that portion, but this is going to be grabbing the SPR underscore barricade collision. And so that way it turns into an empty sprite, but has the correct collision box. And with that, we should be good. Of course, right now we do not have and then there it's gone. Move through it just fine. We do not have melee interactions with it. That's up to you if you want to include it. I personally, I'm only going to have the bullets perform damage in it, but this is my game. Your game is your own. But that covers it for curtain barricades. If you have any questions or need any assistance, just let me know. Otherwise, that's all we've got. Everyone, have a good one.